Okay, we're going to continue where we left off in the 7.5 lesson, just adding one more step. So you're still going to factor the trinomial expression, and then you're also going to solve today. So go ahead and find this page, and we're going to start with number 13 because we already did 1 through 12 as notes the other day. If at any time when you're watching this, if you think you got it and you want to push pause and work ahead on your own, then you can just push play when you're done and check your answers, make sure that you were accurate when you factored and solved. So it says exercises 13 through 18 solve the equation. So that means figure out what x equals, what variable works in that equation. Two things you're going to want to do first. First step, set equal to 0 if not. And we have done that before when we factored with greatest common factor. And second, you're going to factor. So exactly what you did yesterday, and we're going to add one more step. So number 13, g squared minus 13g plus 40 equals 0. So it's set equal to 0. If you remember back from yesterday, you're trying to find two numbers that multiply to be 40 and add to be negative 13. And so that would be negative 5, g minus 5, and g minus 8. Because negative 5 times negative 8 will give me positive 40. And then I'll have negative 5g and negative 8g, which will give me negative 13g. And this equals 0. And now when we solve this, we break apart those two factors. Because remember, I need this number right here to be 0 something so that this factor is 0. Or this number to be something so this factor is 0. So I break it into my two factors, set equal to 0. G minus 5 equals 0, and g minus 8 equals 0. So when I go to solve, add 5. So g could equal 5, or add 8, g could equal 8. Two solutions. You need to provide both of them. Next one, something that multiplies to be 6, but adds to be negative 5. And so that would be k minus 2 and k minus 3 equals 0. Because negative 2 times negative 3 will give me positive 6. And negative 2k, negative 3k will give me negative 5k. So k minus 2 equals 0. K minus 3 equals 0. Add 2. So k could equal 2. Or add 3. K can equal 3. Next one, it's still set equal to 0. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be 10, add to be negative 7. Why don't you go ahead and try this one on your own? When you're done, push play, and then you can check your answer. Okay, so when you factor this, you should have had w minus 5 times w minus 2 equals 0. And so your solutions would be 5 and 2. Okay, next one. Something you need to notice here is it does not say equals 0, and it needs to. So I'm going to subtract 30 so that this is 0. And then I have x squared minus 1x minus 30 equals 0. And now I can factor. So I'm trying to find two numbers that multiply to be negative 30 and add to be negative 1. And that would be x minus 6 times x plus 5 equals 0. Negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. Negative 6x positive 5x would give me that negative 1. So I have x minus 6 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. Add 6. So x equals 6 for one solution. Subtract 5. X equals negative 5. So I have two solutions, 6 and negative 5. Okay, next one. I don't have equals 0, so I need to get this -2 to become a 0 by adding 2. So I have a 0 over here, and now I have r squared minus 3r plus 2 equals 0. So I'm thinking two numbers that multiply to be 2, positive 2, but add to be -1. And that would be r minus 1 times r minus 2. -1 times -2 will give me that positive 2. -1r, -2r is -3r altogether. So if r minus 1 equals 0, r minus 2 equals 0. Solve, add 1, r equals 1, or add 2, r equals 2. And last one, number 18. Yet again, this needs to say 0, so subtract 8. This is now 0, and on this side I have t squared minus 7t minus 8 equals 0. Two numbers that multiply to be -8, add to be -7. That would be t minus 8 times t minus 1 equals 0. T minus 8 equals 0. T minus 1 equals 0. Add 8. T equals 8. Add 1. T equals 1. So two solutions are 8 and 1. Okay, one more that we're going to look at. A little bit of an application one here. So the area of a right triangle is 16 square miles. One leg of the triangle is 4 miles longer than the other leg. Find the length of each leg. So first of all, I would start to draw a diagram. Right triangle. And I know area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. And I have an expression. One leg of the triangle is 4 miles longer than the other leg. So if one leg is x, the other is x plus 4. And then I know my area is 16 square miles. So let's see if we can set up an equation to figure out that area. I know base times height. Here's my base times my height divided by 2 is going to give me my area of 16. So my base is x plus 4 times my height is x divided by 2 is supposed to equal 16. Okay, now, first we're going to solve this. We can undo this dividing by 2 by multiplying by 2 on both sides. So now I have x plus 4 times x equals 32, because 16 times 2 was 32. Okay, and this kind of looks like something in standard form. If first I go ahead and distribute this, I'll get x squared plus 4x equals 32. And we're getting even closer to standard. Okay, so I have x squared plus 4x equals 32. That's almost in standard form. I need this to say equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 32 on both sides. And then I have x squared plus 4x minus 32 equals 0. Now what this is going to allow me to do is to factor it and then figure out what x equals by solving. So let's think of a number that multiplies to be 32 but adds to be 4. That would be x plus 8 times x minus 4 equals 0. 8 times -4 is -32. 8x negative 4x is positive 4x. So now when I solve this, x plus 8 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. So here x equals -8 or x equals 4. Okay, but when I think of it, having a length of -8 on the triangle right here is not a solution. So it's not always going to be that you'll find the solutions that are really applicable to the situation. So one of my lengths is 4. So if I go and look at my triangle, if x is 4 right here, then this side has to be 4 plus 4, which is 8. So you found the length of each leg. 4 miles and 8 miles. Okay, go ahead and show the guest teacher your notes to get the next step.